Thank you so much, Tony with the Keys, for joining the We Don't Play podcast show. A big shout out to Clubhouse. We've connected on the app, and now we're all here on the podcast show, which is always exciting. So I'm glad you're here, man. How you doing?
Man, I am blessed, better than blessed to be stressed. I'm great. So everything's good in my world.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk with you today, man, because just from having quick conversations on Clubhouse, talking about different topics from AI to music to business, there's so many things that come around, and it all plays in that role of what are you really doing with the time you have so that you can serve the people that you have next to you. And this is really where your zone of genius comes in, and marketing with music is also a big thing. And I wanted to start off with asking you, how did you come up with Tony with the Keys?
I'm so glad you asked that. So my whole story is in my name, Tony with the Keys. Just everything I've been through, from being in the streets with gangs and drugs and selling and doing all kinds of things like that, led me to being incarcerated. And it was there where I realized that wasn't me, and I wasn't supposed to be doing the things that I was doing. And I was granted these keys to actually unlock the doors for other people. I tell a story like it's almost, there's a box was opened inside of me that had a key in it, and I can unlock the next box for somebody else that has a key in it. And I call them Kingdom Keys now. And I play the keys, I do music, and I was in the automotive industry is where I really started putting it out there. So automotive, that had a resonance as well. So it just, like I said, my whole story, I can tell from way back to right now with the keys and how it relates to me and what I've been given, I feel is a specialty that unlocks potential for others.
I love that concept, the keys. And when I think SEO, I think keywords. And I think about music, I think keys. And I think about pictures, I think about keyframes. So there's always a key somewhere, key performance indicator. There's key. It's there. Like, you can't miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
That is huge. I appreciate that. Yeah. Now that we're talking about music, because you're a keyboard player, I'm a drummer. We know the importance of beats and bars and rhythm. And then there's a marketing piece, which is a whole different giant. How has it been for you with your business, with your career, with music, when it comes to balancing the two?
That's a great question. And I'm a drummer as well. So that was my first thing is I play so many instruments, drums, keys, guitar. That's like my primary is the drums. I'm a really good drummer, but I love the keys. So with marketing and music, and the way that I'm able to balance them is that I merge those two and use them together. Of course, I have a marketing background and sales and marketing background in the automotive industry. And I was really good at marketing, but music has just always been an underlying tone with me. It's just always something that I've utilized. I utilized it in automotive, made some anthems and things of that nature inside of that realm, and realized that there is potential for creating anthems, fight songs, sonic logos, just doing sonic branding for businesses with their marketing efforts. And just recently got into some marketing courses and things, got really good at the marketing side of things to where I can help small businesses, entrepreneurs, creators, and like events, and use that as my unique selling proposition, as having music being a connector for their customers, for their employees, for the people that are part of their communities. And music's just a great conduit for that, to merge the two. And so it just became my unique selling proposition is not only can I market for you, but I can also help you create your brand sound and put that into the market.
Could we talk about that a little bit, the brand sound? How does someone find, that has no music background, nothing, just a novice, but just is also very passionate, if I could put it like that?
I think music has the ability to transcend language barriers, gender, race, just so many different things. And we're all connected to it. Everybody, whether you're old, young, no matter who you are, you appreciate music. And I think a lot of people do. And so I would say that we all have a sound that is within us creating your brand sound or finding your brand sound is just what are you really attracted to and what speaks to your brand. What are some of the nuances? Is it an aggressive sound? Is it a soft, subtle sound? Is your business representation bright and have high melodies, or is it melancholy? So I think that it really just comes down to finding those descriptive words and then finding the tones that match those descriptions. And music is just really funny in that sense, to where you can actually hear different moods, attitudes, ideas with sonically, music wise. And so that's how I would say somebody could find their brand sound. And that's what I do, is I help people find that sound that resonates with their people.
I appreciate that. Sound is texture, and texture can get a little different depending on how you like the texture. You might like it thick, you might like it very stringy, but at the end of the day, you know what you're looking for. Like when I think about fights, I know one of the things that comes to mind 100% is the brass, because that is used biblically with the trumpets. It's used with, you think about all the things David was using, the harp. You think about those sounds. So the texture is also very important. Like you can be fighting with the trumpet, and at the same time you could be with the saxophone enjoying the cool breeze. So it depends on how you take those two and how does someone pull those together.
And instruments have their own characteristics as well, just like what you're speaking to. And they tell their own story. So music tells a story. Even music without lyrics can tell a story just by the instrumentation, by the way that it is. Is it a big band? Is it which is like a fight song? Is it an anthem that has hard hits to it? Is the rhythm, what's the rhythm like? How does it feel? Is it upbeat? Is it down tempoed? And I think that those help really lay that work for your sonic ambience, the background of what you're really trying to represent.
100%. Yeah, I feel that too. Now I want to ask you something that I feel like will also help the audience too, and I can't wait to hear this, is give us one of the projects that you've worked on and how was your experience? What was the process like from start to finish?
I'll tell you what, one of my favorite projects to work on was a song that I did for a creator. His name is Glenn Lundy. He's got a community called Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse, and he's got a community on Facebook called Rise and Grind. And I created a fight song or an anthem for their community called #Rise and Grind. And it was just, I was already in the community, so the research side of it wasn't too extensive, but there was a certain language that they spoke. There was a certain language in the community. And I took those ideas of the ideas that they portrayed, the language, and created something sonically that sounded really good. It was upbeat. It was a morning show. It's a morning show that he does. And so I created some sounds that sounded like morning. It's some strings and some bells, and it had a morning aura to it. And then started writing lyrics once I was done the music of it, and I had some help with the music. I had one of my friends, MO3, help me with the music. It was really awesome. And just started writing the lyrics based around those concepts inside of that community. And that's the idea, is what is I say that people can either say your brand name or they can sing your brand message. And every brand should have a message, should have something that they're wanting to portray to their clients, to their customers, to the people that work with them and for them. And so I just took the essence of that message and created an anthem around it with some key phrases that were already staples of his song. So they resonated with people. And now people can either hear him and hear the song in the background of him, or they hear the song and it helps them relate to the show that already existed. And so it's a great catalyst for people to really just engage with. That song has blown up. It went crazy on Facebook and YouTube, and went pretty viral with over 100,000 views and impressions. So it was pretty awesome.
Wow. That's a big win, man. Appreciate you for giving that insight, especially from Clubhouse, because I know about the Breakfast with Champions and they do so well. They're so consistent. They're community driven and also quality driven too. And just adding sound to it is like the icing on the cake. Imagine watching a movie with no sound. you would be so stuck. You'd be so like...
Exactly. Exactly. No, even silent movies had music in them. That's how they were telling the stories. And so you're absolutely right. It's hard to imagine your favorite movie, the most suspenseful part of the movie, without having those strings adding tension to the way that the character about to turn around the corner. Without that, it's just, okay, is he going to get there or not?
Exactly. Even horror movies, they have music in them. They have strings. They have all these violins going crazy. So it's a mood. You're setting a mood. If you're in a hotel, if you're in a restaurant, and you hear that same screeching sound, you don't want to be in there. You want to hear jazz playing. You want to hear some strings playing. Maybe hear the water playing somewhere when you're getting a massage. Sounds play into our bodies, but some people don't know how to decipher what the sound should be for their brand or their business when it comes to marketing their picture. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And just to speak to what you were saying and to the question, sound is amazing. Music is amazing. It's such a power, and it's related to our brain. Music can actually has its own area in the brain that actually dates back farther than it helps us with retention of memory. We can draw a deeper memory from music than we can from anything else in our lives. And in restaurants, some restaurants have this thing called sonic seasoning, where they play a certain sounds in the restaurant that actually makes the food taste better. It affects our mood. It affects our connections. We can walk into a room and one person starts singing a song, and then the next person, and then everybody singing a song with strangers that you may have never met. But it's the power to connect. It's the power to empower others. It has a lot of emotional effects on us. A song can make us sad. A song can make us happy. It can make us dance. It can affect our language, the way that we speak. Music is just really powerful in that sense. And that's how I utilize it to help brands really define who they are sonically. Is how do you want your customers to feel? How do you want your employees to feel? How do you want this event to feel? What's the soundscape of all of that? And I found that a lot of businesses, a lot of creators, a lot of people want to try to mold their business or try to mold a Billboard 100 song to their business when they weren't talking about their business. And so it just becomes the mantra of your core values, of your mission, of your vision, who you are as a person, as a business. And because it has that effect, people can remember how you make them feel by just hearing that sound, just hearing the music. And in this digital age with Alexa and Siri and all these different things, it really is awesome to be able to recognize a brand by hearing their sound first without seeing the visual of it. And you'll probably speak on this, but there's a lot of big brands out there that really utilizes the Netflix sound, or even your iPhone. It's got a distinct sound from an Android. And an iPhone user, a phone starts going off, and everybody with an iPhone is going to pull out their phone and start looking to see if it's them that's ringing. And it's just a really powerful tool that I think people don't really recognize as a marketing tool, something that they can use in their marketing.
100%. I love that you mentioned that with Netflix too, because when people hear that sound, you know what it is. If you go to the movie theaters and you look at that 20th century, that's what they've been using for so long. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You know what it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's big. I think one of the questions I want to ask, and I have two quick questions to ask before we wrap up this, because I want people to go rewind on this and actually pay attention and take action. When a business has a budget, most times music is not in the budget if it's not music related. So how does someone that is in business think of a budget for music that's going to incorporate their brand with the sound they want to proceed with or project with sonically?
That's a really great question. And I've noticed that as well. People, it's not perceived as a necessity. in most cases. It's a nicety in some cases. But I believe that it is essential for businesses to have this as another layer to their brand. We pay for logos, we pay for brand colors, or we want brand colors. We pay people to help us with our digital branding and putting our brand on the world. What do we look like? But there's that layer of what do we sound like as well. And I think that's important because it does help us cut through the noise, so to speak, and be loud with our message and differentiate ourselves from other people in our industry, in our markets. And I've seen there are so many big brands who do this. And my mission is to produce inspiration that inspires production even on the smaller level. So that way smaller brands can also have that sonic recognition. We see it in commercials and ads and all these different things. And what if the thing that people recall is that sound and not the visual of your brand, but they can really tap into the way your brand sounds and they resonate with that. I think that would allow us to really look at how we could afford that, how we could add that into our budget. And once I talk to people, then they start seeing it makes sense that they should have that layer inside of their business, inside of their branding, because that's what it ultimately is. It's marketing with music, but it's ultimately sonic branding is what it is.
I like that word, sonic branding, and it speaks waves, really, to a lot of people if they're thinking about how that is going to play into their business, into their roles, into their sound and their mantra. If they already have it and it's fight-based, they need to have something that's going to... Jen, when you hear the boxing ring going and you hear the bell, you know what that is. Even if you are sleeping, you know exactly what that is. If you hear your alarm clock, you know what that is. If you hear a rooster, you know what that is. We're moved by sound. That's why the light moves faster than sound. We all know that. When you hear that thunder, exactly where that's coming from.
Absolutely. It's such a powerful tool, and we always look at it as entertainment, as an art for entertainment, but I think that we could use it really purposefully with our marketing efforts as well, and the way that we put ourselves out there into the world.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Man, Tony with the Keys, you have brought some amazing gems, splices, I can put it like that. Some good stems, because we're talking music terms. I really appreciate you for helping us today. And I know some people may want to connect with you and work with you, maybe get more information to know what is this thing you're talking about and how can I be part of it, because I've heard of it before, but I may not know how to use it or utilize it. What are the options they have available to connect with you outside the episode?
Absolutely. Definitely my Instagram, my Facebook. I'm Tony with the Keys on all socials. Anywhere you type in Tony with the Keys, I'm going to be your first search result on there. And then if you want to learn more about the music that I've done and learn more about what I do at Loud Vision Anthems, which is my business that I've created, Loud Vision Anthems, you can go to loudvisionanthems.com/LVA home is where it is. And that has all of my information and how to connect with me right there.
Amazing. And guys, you already know where to find it in the description and the show notes. Please make sure you click on it and connect with Tony with the Keys. Man, thank you. I appreciate you, man, for just gracing this space, giving us something different. And every episode comes with a different taste. So I really appreciate that you brought this palette to the podcast just to give people something to think about in their business marketing ventures.
I appreciate the podcast itself. I watched a few episodes prior to, and I really appreciate what you're doing here and really getting new perspectives on a lot of different things, Favor. It's awesome what you're doing. Glad to be a part of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Till we meet again, God bless, and hope to see you soon, of course, in the Clubhouse streets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.